Why does Portugal still treat Cristiano Ronaldo like its brightest icon when the country has produced legends before him? And when the next generation is already here? Here's the sharper question. How do you become so central to a nation's story that even the debate about moving on still revolves around you? Because with Ronaldo, Portugal isn't only talking about a player. Portugal is talking about a symbol, one built from trophies, records, and a national identity that changed in real time. Portugal is proud, historic, and football mad, but it's also a small country that spent decades living in the shadow of bigger nations. They had talent, they had near misses, they had heartbreak. And for a long time, Portugal's role in international football felt like respected, dangerous, but not inevitable, the kind of team nobody wanted to face. That plenty of people still assumed would eventually fall short when the tournament got tight. And that matters, because icons don't rise in a vacuum. They rise when a country is ready to believe something new about itself. Then Ronaldo arrives as the face of a new era, not because he was the first great Portuguese player, but because he became the bridge between what Portugal wanted to be and what Portugal finally proved it could be. And here's the thing about national icons. They don't just win games, they compress a nation's hopes into one recognizable figure. So when many people around the world hear Portugal, they instantly picture Ronaldo in red and green. That kind of mental shortcut is rare, and once it exists, it's hard to replace. But icon isn't earned through vibes, so if Portugal is still calling him the brightest, there has to be evidence. So let's talk receipts. Ronaldo's Portugal career isn't just impressive, it's historically dominant. He holds the men's world record for international goals. By late 2025, he had 143 goals for Portugal, with public match logs showing 226 appearances, which is almost hard to process because it means entire generations have cycled through the sport while he stayed at the center of the same national jersey. But the deeper point is what those numbers do. They turn Ronaldo into a timeline. You can map modern Portuguese football through the same face: qualifiers, tournaments, pressure games, comebacks, exits, returns. Like he's not just a player in the story, he's the calendar the story is written on. And then there's the night that permanently upgraded Portugal's relationship with itself, Euro 2016. Portugal beat France 1-0 after extra time and won their first major international trophy. And the story became even more mythic because Ronaldo went off injured early, forcing Portugal to finish the final without him on the pitch, so the win didn't feel like a clean victory. It felt like a national narrative. Resilience, suffering, belief, and finally proof. Portugal later added the UEFA Nations League to the legend, winning in 2019 and again in 2025. And when Ronaldo still shows up in late chapter moments, like scoring against Spain in the 2025 final before Portugal wins on penalties, it keeps reinforcing the same message. This isn't only history, it's still happening. But records alone don't explain why a country keeps holding on to one name. So the next step is cultural proof, where the icon becomes visible outside the stadium. Portugal's relationship with Ronaldo isn't only sporting, symbolic, almost civic. On his home island of Madeira, the airport was renamed Aeroporto Cristiano Ronaldo. And whether people felt pride, made jokes, argued, or rolled their eyes, the real point stayed the same. Countries don't attach a living person's name to major infrastructure unless they see him as part of their public identity. Madeira also has Museu CR7, a museum dedicated to Ronaldo's trophies and career, opened in 2013 in Funchal. And that isn't just fan culture, it's legacy architecture. Portugal turning one athlete into a permanent story tourists can physically walk through. This is how icons operate. They become portable. For the diaspora, Ronaldo is an instant connector, something you can point to anywhere in the world and say, that's us. And inside Portugal, he becomes a shared reference point across generations. The kid who remembers Euro 2004 heartbreak, the adult who lived the Euro 2016 release, the teenager who grew up assuming Portugal belongs at the top table. That kind of cultural gravity is powerful, but it also creates a problem, because every icon eventually triggers the same national tension. When the symbol gets too big, does it start blocking the future? This is where the story gets dramatic. because Portugal's love for Ronaldo comes with an argument that refuses to die. After Portugal's Euro 2024 exit, Ronaldo hinted he wasn't retiring from the national team. And suddenly the conversation wasn't just about emotions. It was tactical, generational, and cultural. New stars want space, fans want evolution. Critics ask hard questions about minutes and roles, and underneath all of it sits the uncomfortable line everyone is thinking but nobody wants to say too loudly. When does loyalty turn into habit? Because if the system keeps orbiting the same sun, everything else struggles to shine. But then Ronaldo does the most Ronaldo thing possible. He refuses to fade quietly. Reports said he renewed with Al Nassr through 2027, which signals he intends to keep going. And when he still delivers in big moments like that 2025 Nations League run, he gives Portugal a reason to believe the icon isn't just nostalgia. It's still paying off in real time. So Portugal gets stuck in a uniquely emotional standoff. Do you honor the man who changed your history, or do you move faster than your feelings? And once you understand that conflict, the answer becomes clearer. Portugal isn't ignoring the future, it's protecting a symbol that still pays rent in the present. Portugal still considers Ronaldo its brightest icon for three connected reasons. First, he rewrote the record book in a Portugal shirt. World record international goals. And a scale of longevity that turns one career into a national era, not just a highlight reel. Second, he's attached to Portugal's turning points. Euro 2016 wasn't just a trophy. It was Portugal stepping into a new identity. Winners, not almost winners, and the Nations League titles reinforced that Portugal's success wasn't a one-night miracle, it had continuity. Third, his symbolism is built into the country's cultural landscape. An airport name, a museum, and global recognition that turns Portugal into a story people can instantly recall in one image. So yes, Portugal will eventually move on. It has to. But that's exactly why Ronaldo remains so bright. He isn't just a player Portugal remembers. He's the chapter Portugal measures itself against. And the next time you see arguments about whether he should start, whether he should retire, whether the spotlight should shift, remember what you're really watching. You're not just watching a football decision. You're watching a country renegotiate its identity with the biggest symbol it has ever produced. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate you staying with the story. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.